The time by Carrie Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The Business News Headlines is brought to you by CBX Wealth Management, making more possible.
Export ambition, regional momentum, and a tech pushback on immigration policy. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Tuesday, October 7, 2025. I'm Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast, locally, CEPROD dominated the JMEA Awards, claiming top honors and setting its sights on stronger export growth. On the regional front, World Bank says Caribbean economies are poised to outpace Latin America, even as fiscal strains remain a key threat to sustained growth. And over on the global stage, tech giant NVIDIA moves to cover new $100,000 H-1B visa fees in response to President Trump's controversial immigration order. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-923-5111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
We get it! We get the big contract! 50,000 units a month for 3 years! Great! Won't need help.
If you are a business owner that requires capital for the expansion of your business, talk to a registered broker today to find out more about listing your company on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, an efficient alternative to other financing options.
Thank God for the Jamaica Stock Exchange Junior Market.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
So much book you need for high school?
I'll show you how to make sure you have all the money for my books
and even some extra. It's called budgeting, Dad. Making a budget is the most important thing you can do to track your money. It keeps a record of how much you make, how much you spend, where you spend it, and most importantly, how much you can save. Write down all your income, write down all your expenses, see where you can cut down and allot more money to more important things, like saving.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-9235-111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
The local news is brought to you by Darriman Trading. Better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with a clean sweep for Seprod, claiming Jamaica's top manufacturing and export titles at this year's JMEA M&E Awards. Seprod Limited dominated the 2025 Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association Awards, walking away with 3 of the night's most coveted honors and signaling even bigger export ambitions ahead. The company captured the National Commercial Bank Jamaica Limited Top Exporter Award for Manufacturing in the Large Enterprise category, the Governor General's Award for Exporter of the Year, and the Governor General's Award for Manufacturer of the Year, cementing its status as Jamaica's leading industrial powerhouse. Speaking with CBX News at the awards ceremony on the weekend, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director Richard Pandohi says the recognition reinforces confidence in Seprod's 4,500-strong workforce and its expanding regional footprint.
Winning these awards at the JMA, top exporter, champion manufacturer, is a big deal for us. I mean, when we set out on our journey to become a regional Caribbean company, it was important that we demonstrate excellence in everything that we do. And tonight's a manifestation of the work of 4,500 employees working every day. People are working as we speak in the production facility. We're every day on the road trying to improve our exports. So huge vote of confidence. I mean, you know, these things add value to your brand. And I mean, so it's more than just an award, it creates value in the brand and create confidence in people looking at the company. So big deal for us.
The manufacturing giant has ramped up acquisitions over the past 3 years, adding operations in several Caribbean islands. Pandohi says the next phase is about integration and synergy extraction to drive greater efficiency.
So Seprod has done a lot of acquisitions from the last 3 years. Major acquisition in Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados. We bought CPJ in Jamaica through one of our related companies. So right now it's about integrating it, extracting the synergies and becoming even better how we do, continue scaling up. I mean, we're really happy to win these awards, but honestly we're not reach where we want to be yet.
That was Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Seprod, Richard Pandohi. Meanwhile, one of the night's standout honorees was Dawson's Trading Company Limited, copying the prestigious Ray Hadid Award for Best Micro, Small and Medium Manufacturing Enterprise and the Jam Pro Top Exporter in Manufacturing Award in the Small Business category for the 2nd consecutive year. Managing Director Jordan Dawson says these wins reflect both teamwork and the promise of Jamaica's manufacturing sector.
winning these awards is very special to us. The hard work that our staff put in, the hard work that we put in, and the potential in the sector is good to highlight that there is some potential in the sector and some potential for growth and forward movements.
That was Managing Director of Dawson's Trading Company Limited, Jordan Dawson. Moving to news in tech, Jamaica's digital workforce is getting a major boost. Global technology firm Intellibus is proving that Jamaica's next wave of high-income earners comes from the world of artificial intelligence. Speaking during an interview with CBX News at the recent media launch for the second Intellibus Hackathon, founder and principal Ed Wattal says its first hackathon in Jamaica has produced 50 graduates, now earning over 10 million Jamaican dollars annually through its AI Academy.
You have to qualify, and if you want to see whether this is right for you or not, just consider what happened in the last hackathon. We had 647 sign-ups. We had at least 350 people in the room. Of those, 80 people were selected. All of them went through the AI Academy. 50 of them are already in high-paying jobs, earning at least 10 million Jamaican dollars a year.
That success, he says, is driving the company's decision to stage an even larger AI hackathon on October 18 and 19 at the AC Hotel in Kingston, which is expected to draw 1,000 participants from across the island. Wattal says the event is open to all Jamaicans, not just coders, with 50 on-site coaches, over 2 million Jamaican dollars in prizes, opportunities for international scholarships worth up to $9,000 and potential job placement.
So like the last hackathon, this hackathon, again, you're going to have 2.4 million Jamaican dollars given as prizes for the winners at the hackathon. More importantly, this is a bigger hackathon, so you're going to experience a lot more at this hackathon. The biggest opportunity, obviously, is at the end of the hackathon to be able to participate in our GQ hiring process, which is the Genius Quotient process, which makes you eligible eventually either for the academy, a scholarship at the academy, which is $3,000 to $9,000 a year, US dollars, and potentially a job.
That was founder and principal of Intellibus, Ed Wattal. And a quiet revolution is taking place in orthopedic medicine, one that could redefine the multi-billion-dollar market for implants and fracture care. Surgeons are now turning to light-activated polymers and biological materials that promise faster healing, fewer complications, and a future beyond metal hardware. The American Chamber of Commerce of Jamaica's Mission, AmCham, in partnership with Baptist Health International, recently held an event where orthopedic surgeon Dr. Roy Cardoso revealed that at the center of the shift is a UV-cured monomer technology, which is a liquid compound injected through microcatheters into bone fractures, then hardened by ultraviolet light.
So you have a fracture, you put the little catheter in, you fill it up, you shine a light on it, and then it becomes solid. And the little balloons have different shapes depending on what you do. We use it a lot in pathologic fractures, meaning people who have cancer, who have metastases in their bones, because it gives some inherent strength to it. And when you shine the light, it creates an exothermic reaction, but not so hot that it causes damage to the bones, but hot enough to change the nature of the material from liquid to solid.
But the next frontier may lie not in polymers, but in biological regeneration. He says surgeons are increasingly incorporating A-cell, which has demonstrated the ability to stimulate human tissue growth.
Where we're changing the environment to promote healing. So we're giving the body basically a jump start on that. One of them is this stuff called A-cell, which is made from porcine bladder, so pig bladder, okay? And they denature this, and they chose pig bladder because it regenerates. So they've found that when you sort of, if you were to cut a pig bladder in half, it regrows back to its previous form. It has some sort of scaffold that it remembers that it does that. And so we use it in the hand to help grow tissues.
That was orthopedic surgeon at Baptist Health South Florida, Dr. Roy Cardoso. We go now to updates from the Bank of Jamaica on how the currency markets traded today. In Tuesday's trading session, the US dollar is selling for $161.57, the Canadian for $116.35, the pound for $216.32, while the going rate for the euro is $190.04. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities markets. In Tuesday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 111 stocks, of which 45 advanced, 46 declined, and 20 traded firm. Leading the winners are the Limnas and Bards, Key Insurance Company, Medical Disposables and Supplies, and Blue Power Group. While leading the losers are MPC Caribbean Clean Energy, Iron Rock Insurance Company, Tropical Battery Company, and Jamaican Teas. The main index advanced by 67.79 points or 0.02% to close at 322,469.35 points. The junior market index also advanced, but by 5.92 points or 0.18% to close at 3,368.84 points.
And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by Carrie Chris, Regional Ratings, Global Standard.
In today's Market Education Feature, we're looking at the term rubber check. A rubber check is a common expression for a check that cannot be processed or cashed because of problems with the payer's account. The term rubber refers to the idea that the check bounces when presented for payment, meaning it fails to clear through the banking system. This usually happens for two main reasons. The account has insufficient funds to cover the amount written, or the issuer has placed a stop payment order after writing the check. Rubber checks are often seen as a sign of poor financial management, and knowingly writing one can carry legal consequences. To avoid losses, businesses often verify funds or wait for checks to clear before delivering goods for services.
The Market Education Feature was brought to you by Carrie Chris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, Tease the Senses, and Pulse Investments.
We get it! We get the big contract! 50,000 units a month for 3 years! Great! Oh, need help!
If you are a business owner that requires capital for the expansion of your business, talk to a registered broker today to find out more about listing your company on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, an efficient alternative to other financing options.
Thank God for the Jamaica Stock Exchange junior market.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
And now for the regional business news. A new World Bank report is projecting that the Caribbean will again outpace Latin America in economic growth next year, even as the region faces tightening fiscal pressures and a challenging global environment. According to the Latin America and Caribbean Economic Review of Fall 2025 published today, regional growth is expected to rise slightly from 2.2 to 2.3% in 2025, driven largely by the Caribbean's stronger tourism recovery. Economies such as Barbados, the Bahamas, and Grenada are leading that rebound, though the bank warns that fiscal deficits and rising debt service costs continue to weigh heavily on public finances. The report describes Latin America's sluggish performance as the result of weak investment, limited productivity gains, and a lack of transformational entrepreneurs, those capable of scaling innovation into job-creating enterprises. It urges governments to deepen education reforms, strengthen capital markets, and modernize tax systems to unlock growth. For the Caribbean, the World Bank says the opportunity lies in leveraging renewable energy, critical minerals, and digital entrepreneurship to build resilient economies beyond tourism. But it warns that without decisive reforms, the region risks another lost decade of slow expansion. Anguilla's government is stepping up regional and international trade talks as rising U.S. tariffs and global food costs continue to drive up prices on the island. Currently, Anguilla imports more than 95% of what it consumes, leaving the island exposed to global price swings, especially as U.S. food costs rise. Speaking during a press conference on Monday, Premier Cora Richardson Hodge says the government is now pursuing trade engagements with partners in the Caribbean, South America, and the wider European Union.
We are also looking at engaging with different countries, our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, and further afield in terms of increasing our avenues for trade. And so, for instance, we'll be shortly looking at visits to places like the Dominican Republic and Brazil, Panama, even engaging in trade talks with the UK, with some EU countries, etc., and looking at shipping routes so that we can find alternate ways in which we can bring relief of food here into Anguilla at a lower cost than we're currently experiencing coming out of the U.S.
She also noted that while the GST relief program has already brought some breathing room to local businesses and consumers, broader action is needed to tackle imported inflation. That was Premier of Anguilla, Cora Richardson Hodge. In other news, Dominica's housing revolution is gathering pace, with the government announcing it has surpassed the halfway mark in its goal to deliver 5,000 hurricane-resilient homes across the island. Speaking during a media briefing on Monday, Housing Minister Melissa Skerritt says the initiative represents a major step toward realizing the government's vision of making Dominica the world's first climate-resilient nation.
Our goal has always been clear, to deliver 5,000 hurricane-resilient homes across Dominica. And I'm really happy to say that at this stage we have surpassed the halfway mark. And, it was, the Prime Minister said after Hurricane Maria that we will one day become the world's first climate resilient country. And it's actually happening. It's actually happening. We are building, from a housing standpoint, we are building back better hurricane resilient homes. And one of our biggest undertaking is in the Granby area. And this will be for the relocation of people from Dubic and Granby.
That was Dominica's Housing Minister, Melissa Skerritt. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 24 securities, of which 8 advanced, 7 declined, and 9 traded firm. Today's winners are Guardian Media, Calypso Macro Index Fund, Guardian Holdings, and Unilever Caribbean, while leading the losers are Angostura Holdings, Agostini Limited, First Citizens Group Financial Holdings, and National Enterprises. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All-TNT Index declined by 4.63 points to close at 1,440.65. The Composite Index declined by 2.61 points to close at 988.19. The Cross-Listed Index declined by 0.06 points to close at 70.50. The SME Index declined by 0.15 points or 0.15% to close at 99.17. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next. Welcome back. In international news, U.S. chip giant NVIDIA says it will continue sponsoring H-1B visas and pay all associated costs even after a new executive order from President Donald Trump imposed a U.S. $100,000 fee per application. CEO Jensen Huang told employees the move is meant to reassure international staff after confusion rippled through the tech sector. Huang, himself an immigrant, says the miracle of NVIDIA would not be possible without global talent. The H-1B programs allow U.S. firms to hire foreign professionals in specialized roles. Trump's new rule affects only new applicants filed after September 21. But analysts say it could tighten access to skilled workers just as AI demand surges. And from Silicon Valley's workforce to the cross-border trading table, new signals of dialogue are between Washington and Ottawa. President Donald Trump says the U.S. and Canada are getting there toward a new trade deal, though he offered no timeline. Speaking in the Oval Office beside Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, Trump described the countries as in natural conflict, but praised recent progress on tariffs and auto trade. Carney, a former central banker, says Canada remains America's largest foreign investor and could add US $1 trillion in new investment within 5 years if an agreement is reached. Tensions persist over US tariffs on steel, aluminum, autos, and lumber, which have slowed the investment and contributed to Canada's second quarter contraction. While North America works to smooth trade tensions, the U.S. logistics sector is seeing a major consolidation of its own. ATS Logistics Services will acquire the brokerage division of Trailer Bridge effective November 1, expanding its footprint in Florida, North Carolina, Texas, and Kansas. The deal's financial terms weren't disclosed, but ATS President Brent Anderson says combining strengths will expand capacity and ensure shippers get reliable support in today's complex supply chains. Trailer Bridge Incorporated will retain its Puerto Rico ocean shipping and government services, while its logistics head, Eric Massotti, joins ATS as Vice President of Regional Management. Based in St. Cloud, Minnesota, ATS is one of the largest full-service third-party logistics providers in North America. And finally, from freight movement to federal management, Tensions rise over how the U.S. plans to compensate furloughed workers after the government shutdown. President Donald Trump has signaled that not all federal employees will receive back pay once the government reopens, raising fresh legal concerns. According to Bloomberg, a White House Budget Office memo argues that the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act of 2019 doesn't automatically guarantee back pay unless Congress explicitly funds it. Democratic Senator Patty Murray called the claim baseless, saying the law is plain as can be. The move is seen as part of a broader hardball strategy to pressure Democrats into approving a Republican spending plan. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he hopes furloughed workers are compensated, but admitted the issue's legality is under review. That's it for the international segment of the newscast. Please do stay with us. When we come back, a quick recap of the stories making business headlines across Jamaica, the Caribbean, and beyond.
We're here to open a savings account for my son John. I really want him to start saving and managing his own money.
And I need for Save to visit my father in New York.
Okay, based on what you said and our risk assessment, he will qualify for simplified customer due diligence requirements. I'll need your ID, proof of income, TRN, and John's ID as well.
Okay, here you go.
Opening an account is easier than you think using simplified customer due diligence requirements, also called CDD.
And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, SEPROD dominates JMEA awards, eyes bigger export gains. Regionally, World Bank, Caribbean growth to outpace region despite fiscal strains. And internationally, NVIDIA to cover new $100,000 H-1B visa fees under Trump migration or immigration order. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rachelle Moncrief. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.
Hi, I'm Haley Grant. You're watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.